I get it. I remember the day I was riding down Lasser Road in Michigan, and the divine told me to go to the library when I was on my way to go to a workout class. And I was rushing to get to that class. I was deciding in that moment, look, I don't know why that just came to me. I heard it. I got to get to my class. So I kept on the direction to my class past Maple Road, where I was supposed to turn to go to the Birmingham library that I was directed to. And as I proceeded, the urge was so strong inside of me, I had to turn around. I went all up in the parking lot, turned around, and went to the library. I remember going and sitting in right at the door, darn near, where they had a bunch of computers, and I sat there waiting, anticipating, who in the world am I here for? Because I got to go. I got to get to my class. So I sit there. As I sit there, I'm waiting, looking around. It didn't take long. And a Russian lady who later became my friend came over, and she's fussing, 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 fussing. I'm saying nothing as I'm listening to her for the moment, but then she says something out of nowhere, and she says, I don't care what you all say. There is no God. There is no God. If there was a God, then it wouldn't be like this. There wouldn't be so much hatred. I'm from Russia, and this is what I know to be true. There's no God. And I immediately wanted to save her. I had to save her. Poor thing, right? I was raised in the church. It was Pentecostal, and I'm like, I gotta save this girl. So as I start to open my mouth with the sinner's prayer, the divine asked me to just listen. So I listened to her plight. I listened to what she had to say. And as I listened to her and I hear her concern, when she was done, the first thing that came to my mind was, I want to introduce her to God in the way that I've just recently come to know God, which was more in a friendly way. And I had come to know God as a friend. And we talked, and I gave her my book, a signed copy of my book, Pregnant in the Spirit, How to Birth a Life of True Purpose. Invited her to read it. The next day, I'm on my way again to the gym. Lifetime, I don't think, saw me that week. But I'm on my way to the gym. And again, the Spirit guides me to go back to the Birmingham Library. So now when I go back to the Birmingham Library this time, I go willingly. I don't have to go and ride up in parking lots. I head right to the library. I go to the library, but before I could do anything, the minute I walk in, my friend is sitting over there. Shout out to AJ. She's sitting over there as if she was anticipating me coming back. Like your best friend waiting to see you type thing. And she's like, oh, hi, hi, hi. And she's waving, 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 very excited. And as she's waving, I come over to her. I knew that's why I was there. So when I come over to her and wave my hands back, she tells me how her son read my book in one night. And she tells me how great it was and how powerful it was and how much more she wanted to hear of God. She wanted to have God as her friend, and that's what she wanted. And it was so exciting because we became friends. And I remember us going on workouts and literally skipping in the street full of joy, talking about God. It was amazing. So 6 months go on, and within that 6 months, I remember one day I was even guided back to another space, this time to Starbucks. And I'm sitting there with my daughter as we were on our way to church at the time. And I'm sitting there and we're talking, and my sweetums already knew that we had already been to Starbucks earlier that day. So, Mom, why are we here right now? Because we're sitting there and we're not buying coffee because we're sitting there. I'm there because God told me to go there. And there I met another gentleman. And that gentleman was someone who was writing a book, I believe. And he asked me, can you get my cord on the side of you? I got his cord on the side of him, on the side of me. I gave it to him for some strange reason. I asked him about what he was doing. And he said that it was time for him to go. He said, I don't know what it is, but I'm guided by this voice. And if I don't do what the voice asked me to do, then I know things just don't work out for me. So I feel that I need to go right now. So that's why I'm going to go. So I looked at him and I said, do you believe in God? And he looked and he started looking around like he had seen just something so magical in the air inside of this Starbucks. He looks around, and I'm watching him. My daughter's watching him. And he says, I don't know if I believe in God, how you may believe in God. I just know that when I follow how I'm guided, things work out. Following the divine, following your spirit will get you everything. 6 months on my first sabbatical with God, and the divine was just caressing me. First, to show me the infinite possibilities of love. The atheist was considered an atheist because she couldn't explain why there was so much evil in the earth. The gentleman who didn't call God God, but just this thing, this voice talks to me. And when it talks to me and I follow it, things work out. So the divine was showing me, it's okay. I'm not tripping on what you call me. The energy is real. When I started my recent hermit for a year, secluded with the divine, the conversation started off with the divine. The conversation, one of the questions I asked, which it goes into much detail in Convos with God, Make It Make Sense, please. It's part of the Hermit 21st Century 24 Happiness Collection, where true love, joy, and happiness will be your reality. In that collection, in that experience, I asked God, who are you? Who are you? And the divine responded, I am. I know you are, God. No kidding. But who are you? I just am. I just was. That day, I left it right there. Later on, God expounds on that question, answering very directly. And you discover where God even started. I'm sure I'm not the only one who wanted to know that, but the point is the love of God. For 6 months in that first sabbatical, 2009, 2010, was this conversation. And I noticed after 6 months, I said, wow, I had all these different examples. A Muslim, I had lunch with one of my clients, and actually, no, he wasn't a client. He wanted me to be his client. And we talked about all the different 8 arms because I couldn't believe that he believed in God. So he shares with me El Shaddai, Elohim, Jehovah Jireh. Those are the arms, you know? And God showed me that God was love. My son, after I meditated, chanted for the divine to please touch my children, because I've raised them in bondage. And you know what happened? One day my son comes and he says to me, Mom, I get it. We're like, religion is like all of these cages. There are these cages, and people are in the cages. And God wants us to open the door to the cages and come out in the center of the room and just to be with God. I get it. He's got it. God wants you to get it. Don't worry about the how, the when. Allow for the divine to caress you. One step at a time, meditation at a time, day in, day out, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's all good. However you call it. At the end of the day, it's a heavenly, divine source energy of us all, in us all. Have a wonderful day. I love you. Transformation it is so. Ashe.